sorry, you don't make any sense. So, right, you clearly probably didn't sleep all night, and you took your comforter off your bed, but you don't need me to do anything. You don't want me to wash it. You've been up a long time. You probably didn't sleep the whole night, and you need to go to sleep. You're gonna spend the whole day sleeping. So, well, you weren't doing the whimpering thing when I went down there, and you had your TV on. So then we're gonna have coffee. So you shut off the TV, and then you just sit there doing that. And then I talk, and you tell me that you can't understand what I'm saying because you don't want to hear what I'm saying. Sarah Palin and Santa Claus. Right, so I just ignore you and wait for all of you to die. Okay, so that's the report. It's not really like a panic. It's just they're not even gonna. They can't hear what you're saying. They can't. They don't see. They can't hear what you're saying. You're morally depraved. You're morally depraved. So just go about your lives. That's why I said keep going with that. There should be more of it, and then you just interview people to see what they say. What's your reaction to that? Yeah, plenty to say about uh, abortion, which doesn't even mean that. You had plenty to say about fake shootings. So what do you have to say about that? That's all it is. It's just sort of like that's not clinically. That's it. That's your interview clinically. Refuses to discuss reality and then begins weird things that are actually created to get rid of me. So I'll stop talking about reality. That's all it is. Right, and it's a person with mania that needs to eat. Sleep. He already just told me she's not eating again because the meals are too big. She's got to have. I just told him she's gonna have the stuff that's like cut up, and she just does this. Nothing where she has to cut anything. It's too overwhelming for her. Her mind is gone. Apparently, that's how they get. Not a fan of old people. Probably, I've got to really, really like you in life. That's what I'm saying. It's just I know how to do it, but I'm not the person's caretaker, nor do I want to be. Okay, that's just the way it's set up. So now I've got to be a prisoner and then go. You got to have it cut up. You can't just give her a huge chicken breast like that. Like she's at the point she just looks at it and gets upset. She doesn't know what to do with that. That would be the excuse probably why this is still going on, but that doesn't explain the rest of your situation here. I mean, it's nice to try to keep living in a fantasy world where I'm in a lesson and nothing is real, and we're reliving history and all of this as your brains melt. It honestly, the way that everything is sort of going right now, I don't even care. That's fine, as long as everybody is fine. But I was just in Quincy in March, excuse me, and it wasn't fine. So I seriously doubt it's fine for everybody. Okay, so that's part of the point is moral depravity, where we're going to run around doing that for now. We're into the 12th year of this, and just some people are just completely psychopathically deranged, and they won't stop harming people and trying to rape them and turn them into animals and things. I like funny stuff too, but it depends on who's doing it. It really depends on who's doing it. That's what happens because of depersonalization. That's what happens. That's the stuff that you just go. And like I said, they get weirder and weirder, where it's like that deranged, demented laughing, like they're on something, and they're the people that are poking you with the stick because they become profoundly mentally retarded. It's like part of whatever goes on with the brain melting in an extinction, combined with meth, which melts your brain. So that's part of the depersonalization. It's like you saw in Quincy. That will continue to get worse. Now it's a fun like S&M game, and you want to partake in it because they're deranged. Yeah, I evicted myself. I did all this to myself because everyone's in a role and stuff, and everything is funny, and it's all part of your brain dying in your head and stuff. So that's kind of what stuff like that. You go, okay, so And then it's helpful that, I mean, hopefully, like I said, all the disassociations are ending. No one is going to actually believe that, like, somehow people don't understand something. They do, and it's just shocking how psychopathically insane they are. And it's been the whole entire time they've been like that. I'm convinced of it now. It's just, it's such a whacked out mental condition that you just go, okay. I guess he's got no other choice now. He's clearly in some sort of a role where um, now you're the bourgeoisie and you're going to talk about how people don't have a right to just storm the government and get rid of the government. People don't have that right because that's something that causes an argument. It's like, no offense to him. It's just that's fit her. I don't. And it's interesting that when I say a reality indicator like Sarah Palin's running against Santa Claus, she can't understand what I'm saying. Oh yeah, it's just it is. It just it's striking. It's striking to the psyche. So apparently that's probably why God does it like this, where some people are not able to. They're not able to take it all in, and it's got to be. You're in a 15-year process for human beings to go, because clearly that's frightening that you're surrounded by profoundly morbidly insane psychopaths, and clearly they're all going to dust. That doesn't it doesn't reincarnate. No, that doesn't cycle back here in these bodies. Okay, I've gone over a bunch of that. This is the first time that something like this has occurred where there's nowhere left to run. Like 350 years on a land piece. There's nowhere left for human beings to hide and run. So it's the extinction. It's the end. It's all perfectly planned by God. They tore down whatever they were supposed to tear down for whatever's going to happen with the earth, and they burnt all that fuel so the earth can expand. That's simply all that they were here to do. That's simply all that they were here to do. All this nonsense about governments and stuff, they're set up to control animals. Human beings don't need all those laws. They just are moral people. They don't want to do all those things. They're not primates. They don't have those behaviors that have to be controlled by fear of incarceration and imprisonment. Okay? They're clearly, that's the worst thing you can do. They're afraid of it, even though they live in a prison themselves. It's just some weird, it's something to do with the binder, probably, because they're not athletes typically. You could have one that decides they're going to be the dominant, and they're not, right? Went over that with the winning the marathon and shit. They don't do anything. They stay in one little area unless they're traveling around for display purposes only, like that Jordan Woods character. I'm tired of calling animals people. Displays. Uh, there's probably a bunch of them like that, and their entire life is on a live stream. It's not even like Aaron Carter, where his entire life's in a live stream, but he's always in a room. He's always in his house. Okay. He doesn't really display that girlfriend very much. I honestly think that sort of like started out like he's trying to do the program or promote the program. Like, yeah, it's just she's obviously a psycho. Went over that yesterday. Anyways, that's going to have something to do with maybe a dominant female in a primate group or something. Um, Insight into their twisted thoughts. But some of it's because of the binder. But anyways, that might be for right now. I can hear that he's back. He went to get ice at the store. I have my bedding in. I know I get like after yesterday is supposed to be when I relax, and I already was doing it like the whole day. When there's nothing else for me to be doing. I mean, yeah, could I at some point attempt to walk to Castle Island? That's probably a good idea. I could try to do that and then maybe be able to go to the beach once or twice. I don't even have a bathing suit. It's gotten that bad. It's just because it's just everything has to be taken away because they can't do anything. This stuff with the not being able to cook, that might have been people that were already at that stage. And that's why they started doing that to other people. That makes a lot of sense. Because they can't cook anymore. They either have food brought in, they're doing restaurants all the time, or they're going and getting those pre-made things. And so nobody can cook. Like that's how their brain does it. It's completely, they cannot accept stages of life. It's just, I never in my wildest things when I was growing up here in some sort of sleep thing, realized that old people were like that. I would like to think they weren't always like that, but maybe they were. But it wasn't socially acceptable if you locked them in a nursing home. They weren't allowed to. They weren't allowed to do this to people. Clearly, am I betting in? I explained my purpose of that. If I have enough time, I guess I can do the other thing because that's the other thing. It shouldn't really matter what time of the day if it's not going to be that hard. When I go, I'm just locked into the noontime, the midday. Obviously, my invention, the midday. I don't see anybody else coming up with the midday marathon and let's walk at 12 o'clock and tanning. That was all my creation. So it doesn't matter. I got to get that back on the bed so when I come back from what I'm doing today, I can just shower. Right. I can still do laundry, but I don't have to be here or sitting at a desk. I guess sometimes if you're having an issue with your back and stuff and you're spending too much time laying in a bed, if you don't go on walks and stuff, or you're just mentally going to drive yourself nuts now when you're a prisoner, there's nothing else to do, and you're laying in bed too much, then you could do it when you get back from the walk, and that forces you to be sitting in a chair for 4 hours. That's up to you. I don't want to do that. Because it's one of those things where if something happens and I don't do the way I want to make sure I can take a shower and get back in the bed is going to be clean for me to take a shower. That should make sense. But if you begin, that can happen too, but I don't really have that. If you begin, right, like you just never wash your bedding because you never take a shower, you got to stop that philosophy and just bathe and sleep in dirty bedding. And then you'll probably do it once and then you'll make sure you never do it again. Yeah, because that's how you become locked into it. Some people become way too thinking about stuff. I went over that the first time you think about taking a walk, you're out. Your sneakers are going on, you're outside. If you have to do that without even brushing your teeth, then you're going to do it without even brushing your teeth. The second you think about it, your shoes are on, you're outside. Because it's only, it was, what was it, 0.8 miles or something from the house in Dedham to that CVS is not far. That's you're supposed to be your initial walk that you're doing every single day. I explained it to some people are that bad. It's weird to talk to them too. Like they literally have to be taken outside and told to do it. You can't ask them. People like Diane and Shannon don't tell animals that because they can't do anything. They're too. Everything is an affirmative to be psychopathically insane. They're deranged. Other people. And if you take them outside and they still refuse, when you just leave them there and let them die. Please don't get into a thing like military members where you're like yelling at civilians and stuff. If you take them outside and you go, everybody's walking up there and back and they won't do it, just leave them there to die. Just leave them there to die. Please. Because I see that stuff too. Because it sort of like becomes a dominance and you don't want to give it up and then you become deranged yourself screaming at them. So please just, okay, everyone's walking up there back, they won't do it, just let them stay there and die. They won't get fed eventually. Someone will have to come and put food in their mouth and they think that's good. Anyways, they'll sit there talking to you and it's like, okay, so you go from here to Fratelli's and back or from here to the end of the street. I think I said the end of the street, but she would not do it. She's sitting there arguing, and she's doing that thing where it's funny that she's coming up with excuses. Like she's already way past any point of return already, and she drives. A person like that drives that sits there and argues with you about why she's not going to walk from the shelter to the end of the street and back. Right? The same thing with Shannon. She wouldn't walk with me from that hotel over a bridge to a Stop and Shop. There isn't even streets. You just go over a bridge and you're at Stop and Shop. She wouldn't do it. Those people you just leave to die. And those are the type of people that would be at a doctor's office thinking they're going to get something fixed, and you take a medication and it's just, it's, it's mental retardation, clearly. A lot of them will talk like that and they seem nice, but I don't play those types of games. I'm not that type. I'm not, what do they call it, a CNA. I don't go to old people's houses and walk with them like this, because that can become a fun game too. Oh yeah, just a person who grows up with someone like that, please don't try to do that type of work, because you become abusive. It's good to know your limitations, because people will always see it as you're abusive because they don't understand that people get that's it. They don't understand it. And some of them think you're supposed to just cater to it because they're primates. I don't cater to that. Nope, I don't cater to it. That's probably why she doesn't like the VA, because they probably don't cater to it there either, because they have all of her records and they're actual doctors. But I mean, I don't know what it's like now, but in the past, you don't have the woman's medical records. You weren't raised by her, so you just go, really? Please, just like that Monique person at the thing saying, why can't you live with your mother or something? And you just look at it like, you people are completely deranged. You're absolutely insane and deranged. You are so psychopathic. You will just, it's just like the person at Star Market. Can't you just go back in the shelter? It's like a literal Nazi prison camp. Hair in the food, chilies in the food, pissing on the floor. Can't you just? It's not funny, but that's all you can do. That's all you can do. You just go, we're done having any type of conversation anymore. That's why I said it to Ren, because I could tell she just completely went into a denial, disassociation, and you go, she started talking to me about they're going to start giving people houses. That they just keep saying that because they're deranged. It's like a lure, and then they keep doing psychopathic acts, and you guys feel trapped, and that's why you keep disassociating. I've been there. You just go, if I'm not in the shelter right now, okay, I've been on the ground. So if you can't talk to me in reality, then no more talking. That's all basically was said to her. Just, we're done talking. When you're living in it, I understand it. It's just, I was already out of it. That was after I left the hotel. And you just go, we're not talking anymore, because it's like a coping mechanism, and you don't want to really get at odds with other homeless people. And you just go, and these people that won't stop drinking and drugging, and they're going to take your money and stuff. It's like, really, just, we're done. We're absolutely done. With this entire thing that's clearly quite sickening, but it all had to take place to get the extinction done for my species. Just people salivating at every report when I come back from there, and that's a reality show and stuff. And just, so now Sarah Palin's running against Santa Claus, ha 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 ha, and the shootings and everything. Neil Gorgeous, JF Sessions, just because nothing matters. It's called moral depravity. Nothing matters. Everyone falls short of the glory of God. Everyone's a psychopath. Everyone has sexed everyone. Everyone's a drug addict. Right? Everyone's just going to have fest, getting high. So, like, everyone gave up their complete morality that to them was a facade and was fake the entire time. My morality is not. So that's why I maintain my belief in my morality, because it's not an act. It's like you can't teach a squirrel to be a hyena. It's not possible to do. So no, I'm not part of the secret knowledge, and nothing matters anymore. And so, and then we're all gonna just restart. Okay, just for clarity, not part of that. It's all basically, from my opinion, a distraction because the extinction has taken that long. We're gonna wrap it all up. Make sure there's enough poison out there to kill off your entire species as you're doing whatever. And clearly, that's how your species is going to be, whatever you're transitioning into, where nothing matters. Nobody has any personal responsibility. We're all Jack the Ripper secretly, and we don't have to pretend to be moral anymore. But that's all part of the secret knowledge. Everybody's a lawbreaker, and they try to teach it to you. I explained that to you. They try to teach it to you. And it's an excuse to do psychopathic things. It's part of depersonalization. It's all just a bunch of crap. Every psychopathic action they make an excuse of that they're teaching something. Right? And then when they can't get you to do it, they don't want you there anymore. They were tricked to let me in there in the first place. I told you that so I could report what they were doing. Right. So anyways, they had us believe that I was there and I support them and I'm insane and I'm doing diagnosis. They had to believe all of that so that they would allow me to be in there and stay there that long. It's all God's doing. And like I said, it is a disassociation to be able to be in there and not be telling people to bloop bloop. Right. It's just like being able to sit for eight weeks, where typically even a day or 3 days, and I'm doing that silent screaming. They probably thought that was going to happen. It's almighty. It's not going to happen. Everything happens to God's design and what He allows, and He wasn't going to allow you to do that to me. I mean, that is a little bit comforting that He wouldn't allow you to do that to me. He put His grace upon me for 8 weeks that I was able to tolerate that. When clearly even a day, and I'm like, I gotta get back to my walk and stuff. Right. I guess that's what I said. Then you try to put me back with them, and you don't understand. Nothing is ever going to be how it was over there. And right, I'm sure you got disappointed, and then you tried to do all this weird stuff with DTA, like you want me to be like Aaron Carter. It's not going to happen. No offense to Aaron Carter, but whatever's going on with him, you can't do that to me. So, anyways, it's about living in filth and being able to cook. Right. I couldn't even clean. She wouldn't even let you clean the house. He's got a little bit of it too, but this is the way, because they've only been in here since November, okay, and just the way that this is set up, it's not possible, and they've only got the one little dog. It's nothing like the other. You got to remember, they had like 4 dogs in there at one point. They had children in there, and that was after 50 years of it. Yeah, it's just, there was only one bathroom, and it was downstairs. So none of that can ever take place. Even her attitude is completely different, which I said it's part of your damnation. Everyone that was involved in refusing to get her out of that house, and refusing to get a dumpster and clean it out and stuff, you're all part of that damnation, but I don't want to keep getting into that for obvious reasons. I said a decade ago to put her in a condo. Okay? The dumpster, she said the dumpster, okay? I think they probably get it now, because obviously, as soon as she came here, she's different. Yeah, she's nothing like she was at the house. It's better for her, for sure. It's better for her to be. But again, I believe that they don't care anything about her. It was an excuse to do what you did to me for 7 more months. In a profound, just deranged psychopathy where, like I said, everything is an excuse for psychopathic acts, but God can use that against you to do what He wants to do. Okay, which is, it's compassionate. It's not a punishment, but you have to be off of this. You have to be transitioned into a different life form. call it that. You have to be, if you're going to stay alive. I don't know that for sure. I don't deal with that. I'm the human being. I deal with what does a human being think? What is a human being's behaviorism? That's all I do. Like prophecy, that things he's explaining to me about history and whatever. Whatever it is, stories, right? It's he's an entertainer, all of that. How you're supposed, like for me, how I'm supposed to raise children and to be human beings. That's why I don't get into it with other people. It's Mary Kent schizophrenia. I don't even believe the book was written for some people. Um, I don't believe I'm an age, but clearly, people that can't understand the book, none of it makes any sense when they try to explain it to people, and they don't conform to the taxonomy. You're not one of my offspring. Like it's like this is what he's read this book while I'm gone. It's not like I never met you ever. It's just read this book while I'm gone. Right? It's like what a parent would. It's obviously God, but it's like what a parent would lead. Just you're never taking away, quote unquote, my voice. It's an everlasting kingdom. God already explained it to me. It's just you're like a cat or a mouse or a dog. You got your own thing where you don't need a book. You don't have a written language. You might have a spoken language with those vocalizations, but it's not written. The brain is not. Some people could theorize a shark floats around just constantly philosophizing. We don't know that. Okay, but the shark doesn't have a written language. I don't necessarily want to get into that, but right. That's why I like to keep it to what do I think and stuff like that. Like, what do I think a human being does and stuff. We can call them doodlebops. I agree to that. Because they have a written language. Doodlebops, Incas, whatever. Okay, whatever the word is that doesn't insult the other species, doesn't insult the Oz. I mean, clearly none of these concepts are new. You got two options: either I was there, or God is telling it to me. So those are your options, or both things. Those are your two options. Because there's no way that all that's a coincidence. I don't know how you're reasoning that, but you don't have mental reasoning. I don't know. I think some of you started out going, we're all going to do this, and this is just it, but you're not even doing it. Nothing you say or do is similar to me. Some people it is. Okay. And there's people that are in agreement and they want they want to actually join us and not just run around saying join us when what you're doing is psychopathic. They don't want to join that. Some of them do, some of them don't. I explained it. It's like the last set of people that's going to go bloop and renounce it all. Bloop. Right. That's not good. That's the last bunch of people. It's like the last bunch of people. It has nothing to do with war. It's not a war lesson. It's the last bunch of people that are going to renounce and give up. There's no more room on the earth to do another one of these. Okay? There's just not. It's not. I explained it. There's not another war lesson. I would say if you would ask me that the people that did all of that, they in 2012 or 11 when the books were open, and that this is a week to everybody. God shines his light on the just and the unjust. That's it. Those people would have immediately stopped warring, or they're not even in the thing, and they started doing this and other things. I explained that you could have people that were in positions of power for a reason because it's almighty, and they've got the bomb, they've got the nuclear facilities, they've got the button, and it's all propaganda to control the population. That clearly in 2011, what would people have done if they went on the TV and said, because I didn't believe that's what was going on, I didn't know that. So of course I'm right out the gate like, what is going on? And these people are still just We mean, come on. Like they're the dude in Oz. And the great and powerful, there's nothing to worry about. Jinga jinga. They're still doing that. Almighty. All right.